it chapter by chapter, one bite at a time. So many adventures and mountains we can climb. Take it word for word, line by line, one bite at a time.
Welcome to Bite at a Time Books, where we read you your favorite classics one bite at a time. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read, and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. If you want to know what's coming next and vote on upcoming books, sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. You'll also find our new t-shirts in the shop, including podcast shirts and quote shirts from your favorite classic novels. Be sure to follow my show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. You can find most of our links in the show notes, but also our website, biteatatimebooks.com, includes all of the links for our show, including to our Patreon to support the show, and YouTube, where we have special behind the narration of the episodes. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear what inspired your favorite classic authors to write their novels, and what was going on in the world at the time, check out the Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please note, while we try to keep the text as close to the original as possible, some words have been changed to honor the marginalized communities who've identified the words as harmful, and to stay in alignment with Bite at a Time Books' brand values. Today we'll be continuing Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 11. End of the Petit Picpus. At the beginning of the Restoration, the convent of the Petit Picpus was in its decay. This forms a part of the general death of the order, which, after the 18th century, has been disappearing like all the religious orders. Contemplation is, like prayer, one of humanity's needs. But like everything which the revolution touched, it'll be transformed, and from being hostile to social progress, it'll become favorable to it. The house of the Petit Picpus was becoming rapidly depopulated. In 1840, the little convent had disappeared. The school had disappeared. There were no longer any old women nor young girls. The first were dead. The latter had taken their departure. Voliverant. The rule of the perpetual adoration is so rigid in its nature that it alarms. Vocations recoil before it. The order receives no recruits. In 1845, it still obtained lay sisters here and there. But of professed nuns? None at all. 40 years ago, the nuns numbered nearly 100. 15 years ago, there were not more than 28 of them. How many are there today? In 1847, the prioress was young, a sign that the circle of choice was restricted. She was not 40 years old. In proportion as the number diminishes, the fatigue increases. The service of each becomes more painful. The moment could then be seen drawing near when there would be but a dozen bent and aching shoulders to bear the heavy rule of Saint Benoit. The burden is implacable, and remains the same for the few as for the many. It weighs down. It crushes. Thus, they die. At the period when the author of this book still lived in Paris, 2 died. One was 25 years old, the other 23. This latter can say, like Julia Alpignola, "Hic Gisot, vixi enos viginti et tres." It is in consequence of this decay that the convent gave up the education of girls. We have not felt able to pass before this extraordinary house without entering it, and without introducing the minds which accompany us and which are listening to our tale, to the profit of some, perchance, of the melancholy history of Jean Valjean. We have penetrated into this community full of those old practices which seem so novel today. It is the closed garden, hortus conlusus. We have spoken of the singular place in detail, but with respect, insofar at least as detail and respect are compatible. We do not understand all, but we insult nothing. We are equally far removed from the Hosanna of Joseph de Maistre, who wound up by anointing the executioner, and from the sneer of Voltaire, who even goes so far as to ridicule the cross. In a logical act on Voltaire's part, we may remark, by the way, Voltaire would have defended Jesus as he defended Callus. And even for those who deny superhuman incarnations, what does the crucifix represent? The assassinated sage. In this 19th century, the religious idea is undergoing a crisis. People are unlearning certain things, and they do well, provided that while unlearning them, they learn this. There is no vacuum in the human heart. Certain demolitions take place, and it is well that they do, but on condition that they are followed by reconstructions. In the meantime, let us study things which are no more. It is necessary to know them, if only for the purpose of avoiding them. The counterfeits of the past assume false names, and gladly call themselves the future. This specter, this past, is given to falsifying its own passport. Let us inform ourselves of the trap. Let us be on our guard. The past has a visage, superstition, and a mask, hypocrisy. Let us denounce the visage and let us tear off the mask. As for convents, they present a complex problem. A question of civilization which condemns them. A question of liberty which protects them. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books today, while we read a bite of one of your favorite classics. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the next bite of Les Miserables. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com and check out the shop. You can check out the show notes or our website, biteatatimebooks.com, for the rest of the links for our show. We'd love to hear from you on social media as well.